Wow,
Yes,
hello.
yes, please.
Hello, how are you?
Very fine, Christoph. How are you doing?
Good to see you. Wonderful. Wow, what a pleasure. Nice to see you. Oh my gosh. There you
Yeah,
go.
nice to see you too.
Welcome home, I always say.
I'm doing fine. How are you, sir?
Good, wonderful. It's such a pleasure. Wow, we are also on Facebook here, so maybe other people can join us if they care.
Oh, that's good.
Also wanted to introduce, well, yourself. You can definitely introduce yourself. We can talk a little bit about hearts. So maybe go
Okay.
back quickly to that. People learn about it's an idea whose time has come, and now especially more than ever.
That is true.
You're here to take a heart. I like the idea of hearts to hearts conversations.
You said I can introduce myself?
Please, yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, James Gideon Umagor, and I'm from Uganda. Well, I think it has been about, is it 4-5 years back, Christoph?
Yes.
When you introduced me to hearts. And
It's been a while.
Yeah, the heartbeat of hearts really is that our mission was always to promote the rehabilitation of the poor and the needy refugees from Ghana, Liberia, across Africa. And really, back then when you introduced me to this group of wonderful, amazing people, it was really to
Thank you, yeah.
be able to reach these people through education, spiritual development, vocational training. And well, I would like to say that I might not have been so much engaged. When COVID kicked in, things really kind of set us back and all that.
Or let's just say what's behind COVID, what's behind this virus or any virus that is really controlling the world. And, also, Africa, there are people who live well. There are also many rich people in Africa, right?
That is true.
Many rich people, they're everywhere, but especially Africa, there's so many poor people, especially Liberia. I work with many people in Liberia, and they're really like among the poorest of the poor, and they're really trying to also now through eventually the vision is businesses so they can support themselves.
That is true.
There are many opportunities.
Self-sustainability is really the way to go.
That's the key. Exactly.
Because we have the potential. Once empowered, I believe our communities can grow and sprout to become self-sustained.
But one of the challenges I've come to find, sorry to interrupt you there. One of the challenges I've come to find that might be, especially in Africa, I don't know, in Liberia, among poor people, they are not very nice to each other. They are living in their own tribes, in their own community, their own family and friends and all of that. And they're all trying to hustle, get something for themselves, find maybe a sponsor, be nice to somebody, or especially over the internet. People don't like that really. I'm like, if you want to, people invest in ideas, invest in potential. There's a great potential for, especially, and I always say the key is you need to unite once you work together, not side by side, struggling side by side.
That I think the challenge is not only with Liberia, but I think it is true. Even when you come to Uganda here, with many African nations, I think we have been groomed. The way our cultures have shaped us and groomed us is to survival for the fittest.
Right. Yeah. Also here.
That's why you might find that people don't work together. Yet that's really the key. That if we can come together, form a team, we can really advance ideas. We can
learn so much from each
streamline our efforts and achieve something at the end of the day.
Of course. But again, the challenges I see is because it's also overwhelming to me. So many people are coming always with issues, and it's always like pressure, like help, and this is the issue, and please help with that, and putting pressure. I'm like, this is not the way. Also, because the thing is, it's always like emergency care. Something needs to be taken. It's always like drama central. There's another emergency. Please help with that emergency. That's what I get from people in Africa, who I know so many great people. You said great people in the group, of course, but also many people still don't understand what the group is all about. They're just here sitting and waiting for something to happen. And because nothing really has happened, because we still have to say, after all these years, we've been registered 2018 in Liberia. No sponsor. We had a sponsor, we had a project for a while that was good, but beyond that, nothing. And people get frustrated, and people have started fighting with each other and blaming each other.
Oh, so
You know?
sad about that. And
We
that should
had a
not be
program in Liberia that was good. Lemuel Taylor, he's our exec. Do you know Lemuel? You ever spoke with Lemuel?
I've not yet spoken with him physically, but I've at least I've seen the conversation.
Okay, that would be very, very important, you know. And they were actually was actually a meeting in Monrovia on Saturday or Sunday, I believe, you know. And there's a community in Liberia. You're now working. I'm working with the chief of this community, which is really great. A great honor.
Wow, yeah,
you know,
that is
and I've really earned. I mean, I've done a lot. You know, the trust of the people. They love me, and I love them, and we're like family. There was a little girl who was treated badly by her mom. Very evil she was. She burned her hand, you know. We took her to this community and she's now been adopted into this community.
Oh,
But still no sponsors, right? So I'm like, we need to plan a strategy. We need to start a campaign online, even on Zoom. Like I say, we can, if we can bring up to 100 people here, we can do fundraising here with people from all around the world. Well, fundraising.
That is,
you know what I mean? Fundraising.
Yeah. And it's all collaborative. It's team effort. It's not just sitting back and
of course it's doing something. Exactly. For hearts. And for you, tell me a little bit for a second. You are a writer, right? You write books?
Yes. Yeah.
How many books have you written?
Well, I have quite a number of manuscripts that are not yet out.
Wow,
I managed to publish one, but I have like 3 in the line.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh.
I have 3 in the line.
What is that about the teenager with the village? The one.
Oh, the one that the first one that I published, teenagers. It was actually called The Shoes of the African Teenager.
Genau, right, yeah.
Yeah, The Shoes of the African Teenager. Trying really to give a brief insight on what the African child goes through.
Wow.
The kind of society we come from, the culture, the family struggles, the hopes, the dreams, the ambition.
Oh yeah,
the
disappointments. Right, yeah.
So quite a juggle through all that, but yeah, that was the past day.
Interesting. Wow. Now is everything. The future is now. Yeah, because we're so much stuck in the past and so much always about tomorrow and
that's the challenge right there. When we get stuck in the past and then we are not able to utilize now and plan for the future, we miss the point.
Right. See, I wrote that like many years ago about the values. I think hearts, the acronyms, the letters. Stand for values, right? Honesty, I think is important. Effort, engagement, also appreciation. That's all the respect, trust, humility, and solidarity.
Quite powerful core values right there.
Very, very important, you know. I want us really to go big with this, you know. I mean, hearts is going to be, we've been around for long enough. It's really the time. The time is now. I feel that more than ever, you know. And with tonight's meeting, I have to say we laid like a foundation for that, you know, like a building block, which is great. And we will invite others and tell other people about that also with your people, because I think where it all starts is communication. Communication is the key.
That is true.
You know, community, I like the idea that community, we create community through communication.
That is true. Definitely.
That is common. There we realize our common unity, right? You know,
yes.
Also, poverty, you might agree with, is a mindset.
Yes, I do agree with that school of thought. It is really a mindset, because the day you choose to think different and dare to step out of the cocoon of culture and tradition.
I know there's a lot to be learned. You know, the way I always thought, the hearts is a school where we here to learn, or rather where we here to remember. Remember. I like that. You know, remember each other, remember ourselves. It's not a struggle. We are so conditioned to just all this competitive thinking, right? And jealousy and greed. Even poor people I've come to find can be greedy, right? It's not just greed for more and more money. Even if you have nothing, you greed, you want help. And when you get help, I've come to find, I help people one time, they come for more, and they come for more, and they think they're entitled, you know, and then they get upset. See, I'm a very sensitive person, and people who know me, I have a good heart, but also because of that, I open myself up to a lot of disappointment and hurt, like with my latest with my wife, right? You know what happened there. But that's life, and that's how I am. I just wish, and that's also, I think this is important as we're having these conversations, that people get to know me a little different, a little better, you know? And I think that's important.
And right there, Christoph, is really the key. You know, and sometimes we shield our vulnerability and forget to address issues as they are and open our eyes to the realities of life, we miss the mark. and fail to improve as individuals.
Exactly.
So
Right.
Quite a Platform is a good one for really speaking into our hearts, uncovering those wounds so that we can get healing and be able to move forward.
Right.
And don't rely on the past, utilize now.
In a new way, of course, because I'm tired of the same things over and over, and the same problems and the same stuff, and people still talk in the same way, and it's like they're still not understanding, and it's like I talk, but it's like I speak Chinese. They're not hearing anything, and they just talk. Because you know why they're not hearing anything? Because they talk about, they always come to me with issues and problems and troubles, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, and then I do something, and then they come with more, and it's like, it's wow, you know, it's really, yeah, there's a lot to be learned and a lot, well, to be done, because this is a huge project. It requires a lot of structure. It requires everyone's help. You know, the way I think that we need to organize everything. That's the thing about an organization. The success of an organization depends on the ability of the members of the organization to be organized, right?
That is true.
Yeah, and that is greatly lacking. Greatly lacking. So we have a lot of work to do, and I appreciate also your help with that. You know, seriously, people are always like, you know, Lemuel Taylor is the executive directors, and we have like chairman, whatever. People are so big on positions. I'm like, it's not about position. Just take the lead. Do what needs to be done. You know, give yourself a title. It doesn't really matter. You know, but then you work also. You need to show something for what your title suggests, right? Or you need to first of all earn your title, maybe through your actions. You know, because that's real leadership. Then people look up to you. It's not that people need to follow you. Your leadership is about making more leaders, right?
That is true.
You know, and that's what we should focus on. I mean, just imagine we have so many members, you know, people who love Hearts. They're confused. They don't know what's about. Some of them are really angry because they've never seen any changes, because they still don't understand. But now is the time to create the school of Hearts. And you know what the real vision is of Hearts? I've developed it many years ago. Hearts villages all across Africa.
Wow.
Where people have their own buildings, they build their own schools, their own businesses, they work together, live together in that spirit. Hearts. Wow. Really, you know, I want to come to Africa, live there, you know, but it really starts all there. It starts here. It starts here. You know?
Just like you said, that this year really is a year to do things differently, to have more of the actions than the comments, the complaints, and
I know. Drama, problems. Everybody talks. It's like
I think people missed the mark the first time they thought that they were coming to a group where they were going to gain without necessarily giving back.
Right. My dad was a composer and a conductor. He played piano, right? He loved his work. He worked for a TV station. For him, it wasn't work, it was his life, right? He asked me as a child, do you live to work or do you work to live? Because for him, his work was his life, right? It wasn't work. So that made me think about in German, we say Beruf is job. Berufung is like your calling, your higher calling, what you're called to do. It's never work. It's like, wow, you fulfill your destiny, right? You live your destiny. And that's the most beautiful thing in the world, but it's also very rare because most people just work to survive, right? And struggling by doing this, you know what they are? You got to be harsher. They are slaves. We are slaves. We're slaves to the system, right? You know, which we have created.
It's a tragedy that we don't get to live up to our fulfillment.
Right. And Mother Earth is very sick, right? Because time has changed the face of the earth. It's changed us. Time changes everything, right? It's the only constant. And actually, the most important currency there is, right, is time and how we use our time. We can focus on things which are upsetting to us and which make us angry, you know, and things we don't like. We can focus on that, or we can just be happy, right? And focus on other things. It's up to us. It's really up to us. You know? And see, when we collaborate, we work together, we can do incredible things. The idea, briefly, maybe we can talk about that, the idea of learning. It's a very natural thing. It's not about the learning the learning about information and book learning and learning what a teacher tells you, because actually it's about the, knowing something for yourself, about the reality you're in and how you can best work and live in that reality, how you can change that reality even, you know, that knowledge. Knowledge is power, right? What is the percentage of children who graduate from high school or whatever who actually get jobs? It's not so high, is it?
Very, very, very minimal.
That's what I'm saying. And then they still want to get money for school. Right?
The biggest percentage graduates and never gets to see
That's,
an opportunity.
That's what I'm thinking. You don't use that money, do a business. Seriously, I mean, that's the message, right? Forget that. I mean, school, hey, you don't need to go to a building to go to school. You know, the world is your school. Nature is your school.
And actually, it's very interesting how much one can accomplish if they really let life teach them rather than go sit under.
There you go. That's it. Nature, even pain can be your teacher. Suffering, hunger.
That's true.
You know, there are many, or some in our group who also like DJs, radio stations. They go on radio, right? Talk about hearts, you know, and start having like a conversation between people, interesting things. Also, I like the idea I told you, not about fundraising where money comes in when you do something, but it's about fundraising. Let this be the beginning, the building block. That's what the building block of something new, something amazing. All right.
I look forward to more conversations like this.
Wonderful. It was so great. Thank you for your time. All right. And thank you for everyone, whoever's watching that, you know, and we'll love to Zoom with you. Zoom is awesome. It's our new home. Yeah. And home is where the heart is, right? And hold on. No, don't go. Hold on. One thing. Just so you remember. Here. There you go. All right. You see? There's no place like home, and home is where the heart is. We are hearts and our spirit is love. And that's it. Whatever the injustice, this world with all the suffering, all the problems, guess what? We created it this way. We did. We're all responsible. We can't say, oh, the problem is outside. It's because there's injustice outside of me, or bad things outside of me, or bad people. You know, they only can be there because we give them power to. And it's time. The system is changing. We need to take power away from the system, right? Away from the machine. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. On
that note. All right. We are hearts. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Mr. Gideon. All right. Thank you, everyone. Take care. All right. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.